We are rapidly spinning through 2012, and yesterday was the, I guess, next to the last official Golden Rain Board meeting with the current board of GRF. They have one more meeting, regular monthly meeting in November, and then the annual meeting, and we'll see some new directors coming your way in GRF. Joining us today is the current GRF president, Lloyd. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us today. So you're kind of at the end of the road, so to speak, with the current board, but as always, lots of business, lots of things to talk about. You had a special guest speaker in there yesterday, Mr. Taylor from the Orange County Fraud Unit, kind of helping us all to be a little bit more aware of how, unfortunately, some unscrupulous people are targeting us to take away our money.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was so many different ways of people out there scamming everybody.
Right, right. Yeah. You are, almost every year, I guess now, the board is looking at some of the various policies and some of the various fees that are here in the community. Right. And you have a study going on right now specifically on recreation division policies, and of course that can often lead into fee adjustments as well. Right. I know Linda Vorak will be discussing that this week at her CAC meeting, specifically in the equestrian area. Right. So, you know, all these great things that people enjoy here in the community, but somebody has to pay for them all, and that's the board's challenge, is to provide the services and keep it within cost.
We made some adjustments to the shared cost guidelines yesterday, and hopefully that'll help us in the upcoming meetings on the actual fee increases. We will be increasing fees on most of the facilities. Specifically the ones that don't pay anything now. We'll probably see a minimal fee in the future.
Two things that have always been feeless, shall we say, would be the bus system and the swimming pools for residents. Are those a couple of things you're maybe looking at?
Everything's on the table,
as they say in Washington.
Yes. Nothing's sacred, but as in the past, the swimming pools and the bus system has always been more or less exempt, so to speak. But with the rising cost of maintenance and fuel and insurance and everything, we're going to have to take a look at it. That doesn't mean that we're going to, you know, come in with a big increase for using the bus. We may not do it at all, but we are going to look at it.
Last month, you formally approved the 2013 business plan and budget and reserves. Will these adjustments be made in 2013, or will they be part of the budget for 2014?
I would think that it would be for 2014, except the fees for what we would call user fees. Some of those may take effect in 2013. We're not sure at this point of when the date would be for instituting fees.
Right. A lot of our residents learned about this community through a variety of ways. The internet, word of mouth, friends who live here now. But a lot of people have come here and taken the tours put on by the Historical Society, the so-called Docent Tours. Discussion, rather lengthy discussion yesterday about the whole philosophy of those tours. Should they continue to be Historical Society, docent-led, resident-led, or should there be more involvement from the real estate community and use it more as a marketing tool for resales here in the community? And the board had, I would say, maybe mixed feelings on that.
There was mixed feelings, but I think the majority, maybe a very low minority, want to keep all of the tours in-house. They don't want to turn it into a marketing tool for any commercial endeavor. Everything is working fine now the way we have it with the VIP tours and the Docent Tours. Everything is done in-house, and we want to keep it that way. We don't want to get into a situation where we may have a conflict of interest by granting, say, the real estate group permission to lead tours, or someone else coming in and we say no. You know, we've already set the precedent. If we let somebody else do it, So we don't want to get into that position.
Recently I read or heard somebody say that we used to have maybe half a dozen real estate companies selling properties here in this community, and that number has escalated dramatically. So coming up with a fair way to do that would be a real challenge. Either you have to let everybody do it, or perhaps have a rotating system or something. So to make it fair would be rough. One suggestion, they always say politics is the art of compromise. One compromise was maybe make a list available at the end of the tour of all the companies that are selling real estate here, and let the person on the tour, if they were still interested, follow up on their own. That might be possible.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, there's all kinds of options available to us. Right now, I understand that during the tour at some point, they give them a copy of the Globe, which has real estate listings in there.
Sure.
But again, that's limited. That doesn't cover everybody that's selling in the community.
Right.
If you look at the resale report, we have probably 6 real estate companies that are predominant in the village. But yet, if you look at the county, there's probably 20 or 30 various companies that do sell once in a while in the community.
Sure.
So we have to be fair in the whole process.
And a lot of companies I know like to promise that they'll not only help you sell your current house, but help you buy your next house. So they might obviously want to get a double commission.
Sure.
Sell your house in Buena Park and help you buy your house in Laguna Woods. So there's that aspect of it as well. Well, of course, that gets involved in the security aspect as well, in that our security folks have to be aware of that. Signage has been made a little more liberal by the homeowner boards over the last few months. A few more signs are available. We still don't have the balloons and the people in the clown suits and the revolving signs and all of that, but a little more signage. But security also gets involved when the so-called estate sales come along, and that becomes a clearance issue for our security and community access folks.
Right. It's not only a access issue to get into the community, but also it creates a lot of problems in the cul-de-sacs with parking and just the massive number of people that come in for these sales. We have to have security out there to monitor that, and that costs us money. So we're looking at maybe charging a fee or something like that.
For the person holding the sale.
For the person holding the sale, because we do have commercial people coming in here and running these sales. They're making money in the process, so why should we subsidize their profit, so to speak? Right.
That'll be, again, a coming discussion in the months to come.
Right.
Well, I know a lot of our residents are concerned about things like parking, and parking came up early in the meeting during the resident input time. Recently, the 2 RV lots were recoated, re-slurry sealed, and in the case of one, restriped as well. Obviously, you've got a lot of large units, anywhere from 15 to 45 feet, plus boats and trailers and all kinds of things. Where do we put them while we redo the parking areas up there? The reality was some of the unused parking lots in the community, say near Clubhouse 1, the old administration building area, but some of them ended up being parked on the streets with permission. Caused some concern, at least in the minds of some. Maybe reevaluation of that, or is that going to be done in a different process in the future?
I don't think so. We'll probably use the same process, maybe shift more, perhaps up to Clubhouse 5 area, depending on the events that are going on at Clubhouse 5 and the time that we do the slurry or asphalt work in the RV parking lots. The issue yesterday centered on a complaint of the RVs parking on the street on Aragon. It's kind of hard to put those vehicles into a clubhouse parking lot, because if there's events scheduled, now we've really got a problem with parking, and it only occurs once every 4 years. We have to be a little tolerant here in how we handle things. Right.
As we approach the 50th anniversary of this community, obviously ongoing maintenance continues to be and will be more important probably in the years to come. One of the things that happened recently, and I think most of our viewers are aware of the fact that there was a change in the operation of the broadband division, broadband services. There was an outside company, had been here about 18 months. They went out of business. The community was able to reclaim operation of its own cable system. Folks that have visited our front office now have a couple of customer service folks up there helping them with all of that. There were some vehicles that were part of that process that the other company had leased, I believe, for the service vehicles for the technicians, many of whom have now been rehired by PCM. They obviously need trucks to get around and do their work. Those are coming up on the end of the lease, and it sounds like you're going to go ahead and just absorb those into the fleet.
When we got the system back from Connection, they had, I think, 3 or 4 vehicles to do the maintenance and install, et cetera, on the system. And they were leasing those. And when we got the contract back, we absorbed everything that was in that contract, and the vehicles were part of that contract. So we're going to go ahead and continue leasing them, and at the lease termination, we will either buy them or just turn them back in.
I think in some cases the interiors have been modified with racks and shelving, so they're probably well used right now anyway.
Yeah, they're usable right now.
Right. Final item, and there's a lot more on the subject that we'd like to urge you folks to watch the replay coming up tomorrow in the afternoon. But security, a big important part of the community, and quite a bit of discussion on installing CCTV cameras down by Aliso Creek. As most of our folks know, we're getting into the rainy season soon, hopefully, and those breakaway gates, sometimes people are concerned about a security aspect. Cameras, patrols, people, a lot of different ways to make something secure.
The big issue yesterday on the security at the creek with the cameras, some of the directors felt that it wasn't worth the expenditure of $81,000 to put in cameras, because by the time someone gets down there from security, people are gone. There's other ways of detecting intruders, such as lasers or some
motion sensors.
Yeah, some other form of security. And we're looking into all aspects of how to secure that area down there. The result yesterday was we will remove the cameras from the proposed project list, saving $81,000. And in return, we will put in shepherd's crooks fencing on top of the block walls, and then do some planting of some type of thorny vegetation, landscape stuff in that area. And that's not going to keep them out.
But it's a deterrent.
It's going to help. Because all they have to do at low tide, if you will, is just walk through the creek underneath the bridge. No big deal.
And they were saying actually some of this may be high school pranks or on a dare or something. Some may be legitimate, illegitimate crime activity. It's hard to know sometimes which is which.
I think we've had a couple of reports of adult intruders that shouldn't be in the community. But a lot of it is some of the kids down there just goofing around, having a good time.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
And girls will be girls. We're out of time. Any final comments on yesterday's meeting you'd like to make?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's voting time. The votes are being tabulated today for 3rd and United. GRF will be following in November. We just hope that everybody pays attention to what's going on in the community and participate.
All right, very good. And of course, those directors elected today and the continuing directors on United 3rd and Mutual 50 will be the ones voting for you for the Golden Rain Board coming up early in November. So we'll see you back here after the next meeting, which will be the final meeting with the current board of GRF. And then a day or two later, we'll see the annual meeting. And again, that'll be televised live, and we'll see perhaps 1 or 2 new faces on the GRF board.
That's correct.
Thanks for joining us. Good to have you on the show today. Mr. Lloyd Foster, president of your Golden Rain Foundation. If you want to catch a replay, that's tomorrow, Thursday, 1:30 here on Channel 6. So tune in, catch that replay, and if you missed part of the meeting yesterday, you can see it in its entirety runs about 3 hours and 20 minutes, I think, is the length of that meeting there tomorrow on the replay. We'll be back with more guests as our Wednesday program continues. Stay with us. Should be interesting. It's interesting.